And now, The Bonfire with Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder.
Chuck D. Yeah, Public Enemy, everybody. It's The Bonfire. We are new and live on a Monday. Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. Big J. Oakerson. That sexy-ass voice you always hear over there is Dan Soder.
Like a big old plate of voice lasagna.
844-266-3399. That's 844-COMEDY-9. Or you can email us, thebonfire@SiriusXM.com. To follow along always at The Bonfire SXM.
Just a real-life, professional, real radio show.
Getting through. Prepared. Moving forward. Have our live reads in order.
Commercial breaks. Planned. I'm sorry, you can't tell me not to say something. I won't say something. That's not how I work. But we all are here. Merkface, Lou Dog.
There's already
Jacob.
a phone call coming in. I believe Merkface is on the call. Functioning machine.
I mean, this is good. This is really, we're cooking with gas. We're banging on all cylinders.
Jacob speaking to Rolfers who are going to come in and Rolf me.
I don't even know. I thought that was just an internet term, was Rolf, rolling on the floor laughing.
Mike Fenoy is coming in on Monday. We're going to rip his shit open.
Yeah, good Lord, is he about to take a verbal beating. And he knows it's coming. But on Monday, I have to film Billions on Monday. And I'm not bragging, assholes. I'm just saying then I might not be able to make the show.
Fucking Big Dude To-Do's doing it.
No, but I said that one time on the show. This guy tweets me. He's like, we get it. You're doing Billions. I knew he was joking, but I went 0 to 60 Soder because I lost in that.
Do you feel you have to do a lot of... Do you have to... How do you prep for your Billions roles?
I get high and I go to bed.
Oh.
It's pretty good.
It's good prep work.
No, I mean, you learn the shit that you have to say. You know how it is.
No, I know, buddy.
You know exactly how it is.
You learn your thing.
You learn your thing.
You learn your thing and you move forward.
That's our school of acting. Learn your thing.
Just do your thing and then go up and then show up and do it.
Just do your thing. Last time I talked to you, I was on the phone in my rental car in front of my grandma's apartment.
Not jerking off, not smoking weed.
Dude, I jerked off yesterday right when I got home.
Was it a cannon shot when you flared finally?
It sounded like when they I don't know the name of the gun where it goes thunk. You know when you like throw it in.
A musket?
Or where you get shelled with
mortar.
Mortar. Yeah, a mortar shell. It sounded like a mortar shell.
Your pillow took some mortar fire?
In my shower, I dinked the tiles in my shower. It's like kink, and just cracked. I was like, wow, that's some speed.
Vecchione, see that?
He wasn't home, so.
Did you scream?
Oh, I ran.
Did you make noise?
I did actually.
I assume you had to make some noise too. That's a real backed up thing. But was it an insane amount came out?
No, it was just I jerked off immediately 3 times.
Back to back?
No, like one, and then like 20 minutes later, and then I waited like 2 hours.
And not once going to pornography?
Yeah, once. Twice to porn.
And then the other time, the thoughts of that porn?
To history. Dan's salacious memories.
What if puss got thrown at you while you're at Nana's house?
I'd take it up. I can't bring it back to Nana's.
You'd go to that other place.
I have to.
Why didn't you beat off in the car?
I thought about it. There was one trip I thought about it. 2 years ago, I was like, I totally beat off in my rental car.
You could also just beat off in the shower. We were laughing so hard. Who was I talking to?
Bonnie?
No, I'm trying to remember who I was. It was off radio. I was talking to someone and they go, I was like, why? If he jerks off in the shower, I go, was it your grandmother sponge bathes you when you're at her house always?
That was me. We were talking about it on the show.
Oh, was that?
Dan, you're getting a red rocket, Danny. I don't think I like that. Dude, she knows shit. This is not even about jerking off. She runs out of cold water or hot water like this music. Like back when you had to warm up the water. And I'm like, Nana, I only get 5 minutes of hot water. And she's like, well, it's always been like that. I'm like, yeah. It's always been a problem.
Fix it, you old geese. You know you're sitting on cash old, you son of a bitch.
She's not, though. That's the... Man, there's nothing weird.
She has to eBay all of Gary's corduroy shorts.
Dude, she's selling them off now. Gary Soder from The Bonfire. Buy his liquor teas. There really is nothing harder than watching an old person with not a lot of money, man, because it's not like they can work.
Yeah.
And you stop earning, people want to privatize Social Security. I don't know shit about that.
Why don't you buy her a boiler and a jerk room?
Dude, a jerk room. Is this a panic room, Dad? again? Oh, you wish, Nana. This is going to ensure that I stay a lot longer than 5 days next time.
I've never walked out of a room less panicked, quite honestly, Nana.
I would actually rename it the relax room. The low blood.
The panic's happening out here in this 5-minute hot shower.
Panic is let me get out of the shower in the still warm water. But I don't smoke weed and I don't jerk off. And I waited until I drove. I had to go to the airport yesterday super early because she lives about 2 hours north of San Francisco. So right when I got in the rental car, I drove off and then I pulled in to get gas and loaded a bowl. And man, when you smoke weed a lot, you really forget how much fun it is when you don't smoke weed for a long time. And then you load the bowl and you tear the weed into little pieces so the air gets through.
You get into
it.
Yeah, whatchamacallit, the whole ceremony of it.
Yes. And I think when you're potheads like you and I, you just jam just a thumb of it in there and you're like,
do you play Cypress Hill music while it's happening?
I play the ending of our show and it was all right, Big J's going to be Big J's going to be at the Parlor Live in Seattle this Thursday through Saturday, which actually he is. He's going to be at Parlor Live this Thursday through Saturday. Go to bigjcomedy.com for tickets, and then I get high.
Of course, Dan Soder is also going to be at Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia on Thursday, December 29th through New Year's Eve, Saturday, December 31st. Get your tickets at heliumcomedy.com. I'm also, in New Year's Eve, I'm going to be out back again at the American Comedy Factory out in San Diego.
Oh, American Comedy Company.
American Comedy Company. Yes,
love that club.
Yeah, I really do enjoy that club.
I love the way they run it. 2-man shows. I love that you fucking take pictures with everybody. They have them lined up at the end, so it's not awkward. You're not catching fish in a weird way. They're just come up and you meet them.
Yeah, I like that. And then also walking outside that gas lamp district.
Yeah.
Wow, the women there are beautiful.
Yeah, San Diego's got a lot of hot women, but
I'll be there New Year's weekend.
But yesterday when I smoked a bowl for the first time in 6 days, I did mushrooms on Sunday and then just went sober so that you just sit with your mushroom thoughts.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? Usually the next day you get high. And
I've never done mushrooms alone, ever.
I did. I went to mushrooms.
I've only done them 4 times, maybe.
I did it. It was the first time I did it alone, and I went and saw Sturgill Simpson at the Fox Theater.
Country guy?
Dude, he's country, but he sings about DMT and fucking all that shit. He's good, man.
It's the ropes and the reins and the joys and the pains, and they call the thing DMT.
And they call the thing an acid trip.
And they call the thing an acid trip.
Yeah. And it's a blessed of God. It's a find out love is all the way. He really does sing about a lot. But he's got that twang, Sturgill Simpson, and he's fucking good, man. Billy Wayne Davis, our buddy, who should be contacting Christine Marie Evans about coming on the show.
Christine Marie.
But Billy Wayne opened for him last tour, so he got me tickets.
Nice.
And this is Sturgill. And I was on some serious. I was fucking peaking. His opening band, London Soul. I knew the mushrooms were kicking. By the way, it's a 2-man group. They're from New York. They're awesome. We should have them on the show to do a live song.
The white straps.
But London Soul, these 2 black kids from Queens, and they I don't know if they're from Queens. Because they are black.
Whatevs.
But I knew the mushrooms were starting to kick in because I was really getting into their music that I've never heard before. Where I was just
look at black people playing not rap.
But they're so good. No, but that's what they look like. My buddy said it best. They look like 2 Colin Kaepernicks.
They're not both black.
They're both half black.
So they're one black. And then one getting a record deal.
But they were awesome. But yeah, that was my first time ever doing mushrooms by myself. And I'll tell you this, not as fun.
No, I wouldn't assume it would be. Because you want to have an epiphany and then look over at me and be like, dude, all the light in this room touches.
Yeah, no, there was all the epiphanies were I need another bottle of water yesterday. And then I couldn't walk up the stairs because my eyes were all fucked up and it was lit weird. And it's a weird place to do mushrooms because there were still some classic country fans who were just getting hammered and that country energy where they're yeah, and I'm like, hey, stop yelling, man. Just listen to the guy.
My solo high epiphanies are always kind of is my throat closing up?
Yeah.
My throat's closing up, and no one's going to be here when I can't breathe anymore.
Mine was, am I going to die tomorrow when I'm driving up to my grandma's? What if I just die and this is where I have all my thoughts, where I just...
Do I have to give myself a field tracheotomy?
But I'll tell you this, best part of my night, I mean, Sturgill Simpson was an amazing part of my night. But then I went and got a chicken sandwich at my hotel and smoked a bunch of weed and watched Survivor Series while on mushrooms. Man, the WWE.
A new one. The newest
new one. The 5-on-5. The Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, which lasted 86 seconds. A lot of people are disappointed in it.
Yeah, also, like, Goldberg doesn't look the same anymore. It's weird.
He doesn't. He does not look the same. But here's the thing. Still jacked and he jackhammered.
Still jacked, still strong. I'm not arguing that. Just like weird. It's like that's just a guy you see the age on him. He had gray in his beard when he was Goldberg.
When he was the Goldberg 15 years ago. But now he can still do the moves. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble, so that's pretty awesome.
So he's back.
It's a pretty extended thing. I think they're just setting up a Brock Goldberg at WrestleMania. That's my guess. But
didn't they already just do one?
Yeah, but it was 86 seconds and it was too quick.
And it was him.
It was a squash match. Yeah,
just smashing.
Yeah, he just beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar. But it was very fun because when you're on mushrooms and, sometimes you get the scaries when you do drugs where you're like, oh, what is this? And I was like, this is all fun. This is so much fun. I love wrestling. It's great.
It carries over,
yeah.
I love that you love it so much. I was this weekend with Rob Mayu, who also loves wrestling, so you guys connect on that all the time.
Did he watch Survivor Series? Oh, no, this was 2 weeks ago, because this past weekend I was at my grandma's.
Yeah, I saw the full bald and sober. We don't take the call, but this is a great question that I'd love to answer from the second I saw it. Kevin in Florida wants to ask us both, what's the most trouble you've ever gotten into as kids? That's a great question.
Dude, I already know exactly what happened.
I got into some weird trouble as a kid.
I know exactly.
I got my girlfriend pregnant when I was 17, and she was 15. That was pretty scary.
What a fucking Mississippi baby.
But that ended the old-fashioned way. Roe v. Wade.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought you were going to say, like, road. I went on a bumpy road.
Yeah, bumpy road. Kick her out of the passenger seat.
Old-fashioned RV way.
No, that was, but they said I wasn't trouble was the wrong word for that, but like just kid trouble. I got into some, I think we may have talked about before.
I want to talk about, criminal stuff. I never really got in trouble because I was always the kid that would like leave before when shit was like really hitting the fan. I'd be like, I'm out. I never really got caught. Some of my friends got arrested and shit. I never got arrested or anything, but, I got in silly kind of trouble for like, I remember in 4th grade, they were teaching us onomatopoeias, and they were also teaching us acronyms, so we had to do acronyms of onomatopoeias.
The onomatopoeia is like mom, right?
Onomatopoeia, no, an acronym is...
No, I know what an acronym is, but isn't it like mom and stuff like that?
No, that is I forget what that's called. An onomatopoeia is the word a sound makes, so like splat or flap or any of that shit. So I did all of
Is that what Batman's based off of? Onomatopoeias, totally?
Basically the Batman TV show. Kazam! So we did onomatopoeias and acronyms, and I just did I did 2 sex ones and 2 throw up ones, and I was in 4th grade because I was trying to be funny, and they were funny, and I got suspended.
Still your best stuff?
Because it was hilarious.
Some argue it's still some of your best stuff.
Still chasing some of those onomatopoeias. Still really trying to really find them. But I remember the most trouble I got in as a little kid was I had a crush on a girl in 5th grade and named Amanda Gott. I had a really big crush on her, and she went to the nurse's office, and so I was like, time to get some one-on-one time. So I told...
That's what you think in this situation?
Yeah. So I told my teacher, I was like, I have a stomach ache. And my teacher was like, go to the nurses. Because if you ever told teachers you were about to diarrhea or throw up, they're like, go to the nurse. So I went to the nurses where I knew Amanda was.
Not if you had one of those, like...
I told this story on stage before.
Michelle Pfeiffer teachers. It's like, you're going to stay here and learn if it kills me.
And you're going to throw up in front of me. I'm like, this bitch
stand and deliver.
Cold as ice. I don't care who Bob Dylan is or Dylan Thomas. But, I told the story on stage a couple times, but this is absolutely true. I went down to the nurse's office, and right when I walked in, Amanda was sitting there, and the nurse was like, Dan, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm blind. And she was like, what? And like, this is like a public school nurse.
Hysterical blindness, first case ever in the school. You're not prepared to deal with this. You might as well send me and Amanda into a closet.
Dude, immediately seeing that woman's face, she was like, Dan, are you really blind? And I was like, I can't see. And I just started doing and by the way,
she went over and started just grabbing Amanda's boobs and stuff like, what is this? I don't know what these things are.
What is this? Mostly chest, but some light meat, because we're all in 5th grade. But, dude, I didn't know what blind people did, so I started Stevie Wondering it, just because I was like, I don't know what blind people do. And I was like, I'm blind. Dude, this teacher went DEFCON 5, and she was like, Dan, are you serious? You cannot see. And I was like, I cannot see. She's like, I'm going to have to call your mother, and she's going to have to take you to the hospital. I was like, and I looked, I just see Amanda being like concerned, like, oh my God, my classmate is blind.
Dad's going, school nurse, keep on nursing.
Amanda, keep on dreaming.
Keep on button up. World.
Well, and she was like, I have to call your mom. And she has to take you to the hospital. And I was like, you should do that. And
Jesus, you committed.
Dude, I committed so much. My mom got on the phone, and the nurse was like, your mom wants to talk to you.
You better be blind, motherfucker.
I could hear it through her teeth. She goes, Dan, I have to take the day off if I take you to the hospital. That's a vacation day. So we can't go on vacation. And I was like, Mom, I can't see. And she's like, I'm coming. She hung up. Dude, she picked me up and immediately knew I was full of shit. Just
of course.
Immediately.
You got picked up from 5th grade for blindness. How'd you go back to school?
I didn't go back. Dude, she took me to the hospital on the drive to the hospital.
Just changed schools after that?
She took me and she took me to the hospital. And all the way to the hospital, she told me this story. Sorry to make my face hurt because I'm smiling. She told me the story of the boy who cried wolf. And the whole time I was like, yeah, whatever.
You're like, I'm crying blind, dumbass. There's no wolves in this town.
That kid's a fucking moron and doesn't know how to commit.
Yeah, I'm trying to get deep. I'm trying to get knee deep into Amanda's gush.
Call me Daniel Day-Lewis because I'm living my left leg. Dude, she took me to the hospital and was so angry with me in the emergency room. She was like, are you really blind? And I was like, yeah. And then I remember the nurse comes out. She's like, Miss Soder? And she's like, it's Soder. And she's like, the doctor will be right with you. Dude, my mom looked at me. This is the angriest I've ever seen my mom in her entire life. And this is including when I told her that I got robbed with living in a drug dealer. This is when I told her that I fucking a bunch of shit that I didn't do. Though I did do. But she looks at me and she goes, Dan, if you can tell me how many fingers I'm holding up, I will give you $100. And she goes like this, and I go, 3! And just right as she put them up, I go, 3! And, dude, when my mom would get pissed, her right eye would bounce in her head, because she would get so furious. And she goes, she just...
I like the idea that 3 fingers coming down into a fist.
Dude, all of a sudden, she just grabbed my arm, and she goes, you little motherfucker. And I go, Mom, I don't know what's happening. I can just see now. And she goes, dude,
thank the Lord, it's a miracle. Why are we getting angry?
Dude, I've never seen her so mad. The doctor came out. My mom goes, yeah, I think he's okay. And the doctor goes, well, we have to, he's checked in. We have to do the checkup. And my mom's like, is this covered by insurance? And the doctor's like, I'm going to have to check. Dude, the more questions my mom asked about insurance.
You realize how fucked you
I
were.
realized, how fucked I was.
It's coming out of pocket, huh?
Yeah. Okay. I have to cover the deductible. Okay, that's $3,000. Okay, so that's... We're just going to do a quick test if you can. Dude, she did the backwards punch into the chest right when we got in the car. I remember buckling and being like, well, looks like in my head, I was like, looks like I get the day off school. And right as I clicked the fucking seatbelt, it was fucking boom, just right in the chest. You're like, oh.
Absolutely. Should knock the wind out of you. But you know what's funny about that? Did the doctors sometimes will try to take the kids' sides, does get them killed, so they start going like, well, hysterical blindness is a thing. It could be anxiety related, or
that's
could be
exactly,
blah, blah, blah.
Dude, the doctor,
they're trying to stop you from getting murdered by your own
parent. It's so funny you say that, because the doctor was clearly like, this kid's fucking dead. Like, this kid's dead.
Your mom was not hiding it well at all?
No, I mean, my mom,
you should have waited for her quadriplegic years for this.
Oh my God. Yeah, go back in time when she couldn't fucking get up and do anything about it. Dude,
she's been training since then.
Yeah, she has been. It's like, it was the most angry I've ever seen my mom in my entire life. Including when I was shoplifted, including when I was smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, all that shit. She was so fucking mad. She was like, I told you on the phone that it was going to cost me. My mom got 8 vacation days a year. She's like, now if I get sick, I have to go to work. How does that make you feel? And I was like, I'm sorry. And that's when you break as a kid and you start crying. And she's like, now if I get sick, I just have to go to work and I have to be sick at work and I have to throw up while I'm doing my job. Does that make you feel good? I'm like, I'm sorry.
Great, I'm terrible.
And then when I was 16, I was like, you know why I did that? Because I wanted to impress Amanda Gott. My mom goes, oh, Jesus Christ, Dan.
You are such a clam. Your mom says,
yeah, you fucking loser. Oh, it's a palindrome is what you're thinking mom is.
Yes. Yeah, same thing. Onomatopoeia, palindrome,
Yeah, you get it.
Like that.
What's the most trouble you ever got into as a kid?
I had a couple. I mean, cutting school a lot in 4th grade.
That's just impressive at a 4th grader.
By the way, so impressive because I'm trying to think of putting in perspective.
What was
with my
hard
daughter.
to learn?
Nothing. I just didn't want to be there.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, fuck this 4+4 shit. I'm out.
I liked fucking watching Price is Right and being home.
So what would you do? How would you
order food?
How would you order food?
Change.
How would you order food? You would change?
Take a couple bucks out of my grandmother's. Take a couple bucks out of my grandmother's canasta club dues.
What would the delivery guy do? Be like, hey kid, is your parent home?
Have you ever met a delivery guy who would give 2 fucks about this happening?
You know what? I delivered pizzas, and I totally remember delivering pizzas to kids sometimes.
During the day?
Yeah. You're like, here you go. You're like, oh, well, it has to be home with a parent if it's home during a day.
I sure hope there's a parent here.
How would you talk? I mean, how would you ditch?
Start walking with the intention of going, I thought, but maybe I'll leave. And then when I just got close and I saw that window of well, I'm gonna be a minute late anyway, so I might as well just go back to my grandmom's house.
We'll get back to you ditching, but one time in high school, I got so high my junior year, we were smoking bongs at my house, and I had to go to second period English, and it was in a trailer because my high school was overpopulated, so they had trailers outside, and I was walking up the trailer ramp, which is wood, and it's like doo, 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 and there's all the windows where you can see who's walking up. I walked halfway up the trailer, and I was just so high that I was like, I can't go to class. And I just turned around and walked back down the trailer and ditched. I was like, fuck that shit.
I remember one time ditching because I got acid wash pants or stone wash pants that were too stoned wash, and I went into my first class and sat down. They just blasted open in the ass and dick.
Wait, what? Is blew open like a seam?
Blew open. And then I had to walk home holding my ass and my pants together.
How old are you?
That may have been 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade.
Okay, but back to 4th grade, Jay. Latchkey kid.
Cutting school constantly.
How many days do you think you missed total?
Several a week for months.
What? You just wouldn't go Tuesday through Thursday?
Mrs. Peterson's class. Don't remember anything about it. I don't even know what the curriculum was. I was never there.
I mean, that's truancy, right?
Got caught. And look, in hindsight, you can go back. In my mind, I'm just kind of I just like to be home. I didn't want to go to school.
Yeah, every kid
Maybe it was, but maybe there was something psychological going on. My grandfather had passed away not long before that, and I was close to him and stuff like that, and my grandmother was still working, so I would do it because there was no one home. My grandfather was gone, and
all right,
my grandma was at work.
You're a genius.
I stayed home.
At the funeral, you're like, perfect.
But this is so... This is a great one. This is an article. Somebody called and said the trouble he got into. Is pretty funny if you look at that on the call screen.
No, I didn't even.
Pretty funny.
But anyways, 4th grade.
So what happened when I got caught finally doing this? They said, why? I think I told this in the show before, but they were like, why did you cut school so much? I just picked a name of some kid in school. I was like, Avi Lazar has been making fun of me about Pop dying.
Whoa. Oh, you threw that kid
Did
under
not
the bus.
happen at all.
At all. So Avi just got rain.
I mean, probably rained hell on that dude.
And he's like, I didn't do anything.
Very foreign Russian kid, though. So.
Oh, poor kid.
Nah, he was a big goof at the time.
I don't make fun of the man.
Yes,
I do not make fun of dead people. It is bad custom in where I'm from to mock the dead. They come back for you. Please.
The
Ukraine
does not believe in this.
Please.
I also, my grandmother had a tenant that lived in a room in her basement. It was my Uncle Barry's friend named Billy Breslow. Billy Breslow used to smoke cigarettes in his room.
How did you not run numbers for him?
Billy Breslow's room smelled like cigarette smoke, sweat. You know that smell?
Yeah, I know exactly that smell. I smoked cigarettes for a long time.
We found out if you take scissors, because it's one of those thin doors with the shit lock, where if you can get a scissor to kind of like catch the metal, you can like pull the metal like piece out and get in his room. One day that wasn't working, but we used to go in there because he had porn VHSs.
How old were you when you were in 4th grade?
This is more maybe like, I don't know the grade, but this is probably like 11, 12 years old. And doing that, like breaking his room. One day that didn't work. I couldn't catch the metal to make it happen. So I was like, I wonder what would happen if I just stuck the scissors in the keyhole of the doorknob. And the tip of the scissor just broke off in the key thing.
Oh, Jesus.
Had to explain that. And then when you get caught, when you're a kid, sometimes when you get caught, though, you don't think of even saying why you were. Like, once you're caught, you sort of start fessing up to every part of it. So I could have just said,
Did you sing like a canary?
I could have said I was going in there to, like, watch, because he had regular movies. And of course, I just go in there. I'm like, there's like, he has. First of all, it was always funny because then you're incriminating and embarrassing him too.
Jesus Christ! I like Asian women. I like Asian women. I'm sorry. Grandma. I'm sorry. I have a thing for Asian women.
One of my earliest porn memories ever was a video that he had. It was 2 white dudes and an Asian girl coming, like a door-to-door salesperson, and they bring her in, like it's not. I don't want to say rape. That's not fair to what this is. It's a porno. Number one, everyone was all actors. But it was a very, like, we'd love to hear about it. But then it's like, like pushing her face on their dicks and all that. Like,
Jesus.
Like taking it.
Yeah.
It was great.
Okay. I wonder have you ever tried to look for that clip? You ever do that? You ever go online and try to find old clips?
I can't find that one.
I'll tell you what, I've been successful a couple times, and it feels good. It's like finding an old friend.
You can always find the first Jenny Jameson.
Retro Beat. I was a big Ashlyn Gear fan, so I could always go back and find her. I was like she had angry mouth while she was having sex. Like,
I remember my favorite Peter North pops.
Okay, the pops of Peter North. How is that not a mixtape? The pops of Peter North. Back to 4th grade, you ditching.
No, the other one was... so I got in trouble. I got in a lot of trouble, but I
3rd row down all the way to the left is the perfect Ashlyn.
Yeah. She made great noises. But I used to...
at the Bonfire SXM on Twitter, Instagram,
again, it's hard to say the trouble because, like, when I got sympathy after I said a kid was making fun of my grandfather being dead.
But you never got in trouble for lying about that. This poor Russian kid got
punished a little bit, but I think it was more everyone was kind of like, I'm so sorry you felt you couldn't go to school and couldn't tell us. I'm like, right?
And he got sent to Estonia.
Probably.
I don't want to go back. Eastern Bloc falling right now.
My father's going to put me in the room for weeks.
You ever been to Goulash? I don't want to go.
To Goulash?
Please no. Please no.
Breaking into Billy Breslow's room, there was no coming back from.
Breaking Breslow.
Breaking Breslow? I got in pretty good trouble for that.
Yeah, did your grandma came down on you on that one?
Yeah, but she was always a little... I'm trying to think of like a real fucking like... I mean, my stepmother still hates me to this day because of all that shit my dad threw me under the bus with. You know, my dad... Have I told these stories in here before? No. What my dad did? These are great. So my father...
Gary. Sons of Gary.
This is great. When I was a kid, I went to visit him in the summertime one time, and I brought a porno movie.
What was it called?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I brought it. My mom knew I brought it. Because she caught me with it and then was like, I'm taking this away. And then I snagged it before I left to bring it to my dad's for a couple weeks in the summer.
How old were you?
My dad moved when I was 11, so let's call this 13, 14.
Perfect porn time. That's when you start. I was real big into Shannon Tweed until I was about 13 and realized that they were doing it for real on tape.
Maybe I was 15, and I want to say, it'll come back in the story later as to why that possibly is. I apologize to everybody for my sniffling and shit too. This allergies and weather is murdering me.
You have very bad allergies. But
it's killing me.
Oh, these allergies.
So, I go to visit my dad with this porn. My mom says, I think our son's there with a porn tape, just so you know.
FYI, I think he's loaded. I think he brought something with him. I think he brought some of the merchandise.
My dad gives me I'm sorry, this was younger. This was probably about like 12 or 13. This all happened in a succession of years. We'll say 13 years old. I bring this porn tape. My dad goes, look, I don't care. It's fine. You have it. I get it. But, like, when you leave, don't bring it home with you. So I'm going to tell your mom I took it from you. But just,
So your dad was cool with it?
But he goes, he's cool with it because he wants it. Yeah. He wants a tape.
So
when I'm leaving, I'm like,
did he look at it? He goes, good.
I'm like, all right, Dad, I'll throw it out now at the end of the trip. And he goes, hang on, let's not get crazy.
I don't think that we can kick these tires.
Just leave it. Now, I would stay in a room in like they had a finished basement before it sounds like I'm being tortured.
Yeah.
I stayed there.
So you stayed in the basement. And you had a beat room. You had a
I had a
relax
VCR
room.
and a little TV in there.
So you basically had a relax room, like we talked about. A beat room.
Total beat room.
I'm going to build at my grandma's.
Beat laboratory.
My beat laboratory. Mom, what's your stepmom?
Diane.
Diane. Gare, I'll be in the beat lab.
I'll be in the beat lab. If anybody needs me, I'll be beaten.
I'll be cooking up some beats.
So he goes, leave. Just leave the tape. I was like, I'll throw it out. And he goes, no, leave. Just leave it here. So I'm like, okay.
But did he talk to you like a dude? Like two dudes? Because that sounds like you guys were talking like...
Well, these are the three. Actually, I'm going to go back. This is the middle one I'm telling you right now. I'm going to have to go back a little earlier on the next one. But in the... with the porn thing, I leave. And my stepmother, when they're moving to a new house, eventually, and they're cleaning up the thing, they find the porn tape. My dad just was so afraid of my stepmom, dude. He just throws me right into the bus. Like, he told me to leave it. And he would call me with her on the line. Like she would make him call me to, like, reprimand me. A guy who talked to me twice a year on his own accord.
That's so great.
You know what I mean? Like, twice a year on his own accord, he would call.
There's nothing bad than absentee father discipline, where you're like, where did you get the jurisdiction?
I'll do my favorite was when he told me. My favorite was when I went to his house and he told me I'm not allowed to watch Married with Children because he doesn't like the way they perceive the father.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, what?
Oh, you mean that he's around?
He's
around. What a real bummer.
Even
every day.
Even reluctantly, he sleeps in the home with his family every night.
Dude, that's what I loved about my dad. My dad was just straight up like, dude, I know the score. I ain't doing some real parenting. Who wants to go to the toy store?
Yeah.
This guy gets it!
Yeah. Word up, Gare.
Yeah, Gary, you're the best. He's like, listen, if I'm going to make you go work at a fucking liquor store at the age of fucking 8 years old, I might as well take you to the toy store after.
So my dad, he calls me with Diane on the phone and runs me down about leaving this porn and disrespectful it is to bring it to his house and everything. And I start going like, Dad, you told me, and he would always like cut me off. He'd be like, it's enough.
But Dad, but you told.
Literally, he would cut me off and then go, and then when my stepmother would hang up, he'd call me back.
Hey, sorry about that, Dad.
He'd go, hey, bud. He's like, sorry. He goes, just like, I gotta live with her, man. It's like, she rains it down on me, you know how it is. It just sucks.
Diane doesn't like it when you bring beat material.
When you bring beat material to the laboratory.
Hey, Diane doesn't like you cross-contaminating our beat lab with any outside sources.
So a couple years before that, I guess my stepmother's nephews, so my cousins, I guess technically,
step-cousins.
My step-cousins, yeah. They were one of those like fucking postcard families.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
wallet families.
They all look perfect. They all have the same fucking sweater on.
And then all their names start with the same letter, or they're like, that is Christopher, that's Cody, and that's Campbell.
No, but it's even more. It's like Mark, Stephen, David, and Gregory. And it's like literally their names.
They were all baptized by the same priest.
Of course.
We go there every Sunday, and we love them. Diane.
The parents are Marie and Jim.
Diane is my sister, and I love her. So I want to make sure that her stepson loves her as well.
The dad was a stern, like, man who just, like, believed in...
Marijuana's a real drug.
Yes.
It's a real problem.
Absolutely. So
Climate change isn't real.
So what we do, of course, it's Christmas time. I'm visiting my dad. And when it comes time, like, you know, they're like, what did you, I'm like, do you guys know what I got? Like, I asked them, and they go, yeah, you know, whatever. By the way, it was like bullshit. It was like, yeah, you got some slacks, which is great. Things that make them happy. I think you got a sweater, the same sweater the whole family's wearing this year.
Deb looks so fucking good today. Good Lord, you are wow. She's the hottest girl at Sirius.
Sorry, Christine.
Sorry, Christine.
I think you are.
No, you don't.
just look at her. She's so hot.
She never looks over. You can just.
I don't care. I'm going to keep waving at her. Hi. Yay. All right, back to
Merkface, do me a favor, drop your pants and jump up and smack ass against the window.
Smack dong against the window.
Just do me a favor, just press ham, do a flying press ham.
Or like in one of the movies when animals go crazy and they just start slamming their heads into the wall. So Diane's nephews.
We're doing the. Do you know what I got for Christmas?
You got such a good blazer. You're going to look sharp this season.
The bummer was I gave them theirs first. I told them what theirs thing was, which was fucking Nintendo. Nintendo.
Oh,
big deal.
That's the biggest deal. Anything before 1990, if you got a Nintendo before the fucking Sega.
Now, these kids were so lily white vanilla.
Where were they from? Do you remember?
Canton, Ohio.
Canton, Ohio. Okay, so they're from
It's all where my dad lives.
Yeah, and you're coming from fucking South Philly, dog.
Coming from garbage ass West Philly.
West Philly. Yeesh.
So I go up there, and I'm like, yeah, you guys got Nintendo, and I'm even like a scumbag enough kid enough to this point to know, like a conniving single child at this point to go, just guys, when you get it though, like.
Act surprised.
Go big, man. Like, you got to go big. Do not fuck this up. You got to go big.
You got to go big.
I'm like, no, you got it. And they were like, almost before they even, like, I watched them do it. Almost before they opened the paper, they were like, Nintendo! And, like, rip the paper off. And, like, so out of the box in 2 seconds, and they're already setting it up. But not with, like, this, like...
That's like every movie.
Not with this, like, the parents were hoping for... By the way, sometimes you don't get this anyway, but the parents were hoping for... Like oh my god, this is amazing, and hugs again. They were just like in their minds they've been waiting 2 weeks to fucking plug this thing in.
One of my favorite, I watched a lot of commercials at my grandma's because that's what you do. One of my favorites is this year they put Le Chic Freak Out to kids freaking out on Christmas morning, and it's hilarious. It's just one of those commercials where you're like, that just works perfectly. Little kids freaking out to Le Chic. Hey! Of course he has a giant orange coat. He looks like a goddamn hurricane correspondent. But that's like here's the commercial I was talking about.
It's Typhoon Williams here on the scene.
Perfect.
That's fucked up because the black kid just got socks. And he was happy. The Chinese kid got an abacus.
He's like, I learned to count the old way. It's a good Walmart commercial. But, I mean, you got to sell that if you're going to know it.
They didn't sell. I mean, believe me, I was still like, cool, sweater.
Sweet, thick wool.
So I leave, and I get the phone call from my dad down on the phone because they have to dress me down about... And my stepmother says, at that point, she told me I wasn't welcome in her home anymore, which my dad...
Because you revealed that it was a Nintendo?
Yeah, I'm like, even if... I'm just a kid enough to even know, I'm like, hey, this is kind of like a common thing kids do, man. Let's not make this a whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? But she...
Do you think Diane was gunning for you the entire time to get you out?
I do.
Do you think your dad...
when I wasn't a cute little kid and I was like a fat little ball that came over, I didn't really fit into her, like... She was trying to X me out of family pictures.
Oh my God, seriously?
In front of a girlfriend, dude.
Dude, that is vicious.
In front of a girlfriend I brought up there on vacation, and my dad goes, you got to come to the family pictures. And I was like, I don't even want to come. I'm like, nah, I'm okay. And he goes, no, you got to come. And then they did like, my stepmother's sister's family, and then they were going to do one all together. And they go, now the Oakersons come in now? And my dad goes, Jace, come on, and my stepmother goes, oh, I thought it was going to be like our family. In front of my girlfriend, I was like, I'm like, school, I hate pictures.
Your heart's,
I hate pictures
your
anyway.
Is shattering. You're like, I don't want to do this.
Also because it's one of those things you just feel coming, and you're like, let me just get...
Yeah, you don't want to do it.
Let me dodge this whole thing. I don't want it to be family pictures. I'm visiting here to show you that I do comedy. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like 19. I just started.
Oh, dude, that sucks because there's nothing like getting bumped out. My first question is, do you think your dad had 2 phone calls with Diane the way he did with you? Where you're on the phone, you're like, no, Jason's going to be in the family pictures, right? And she's like, sure, that'll be great. And then you leave and you go, hey, Diane, listen, I don't want the kid around either. He goes, but what can I do? He's my seed. I got to deal with him.
I gotta make this little fuck happy.
And maybe, some of our listeners have had this happen, but there's not a worse feeling of being the outside kid, especially when you're an only child of another kid, and then you're like brought into the family, and then you just
and
know. And
quickly he's got 2 more.
Yeah, dude, that's like, and then you're like this outside thing, which basically now.
See, I was inside for my mom's kids being born. I was like their big brother.
Exactly.
I was living there.
You lived in the house. But when you're the outside element, you're kind of like a representation of your mom. So then it just makes everything
That's exactly the story of why my stepmother, just to this day.
Yeah, it's because of your mom.
Unimpressed and does not like me.
Because when I would go to...
I was not even being a childish thing about that. My stepmother couldn't tell you what my birthday is. She doesn't know Isabella. My dad called me the other week and he goes, how's Isabella? I'm like, good. I mean, she turned 14 like 3 weeks ago. And he's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, it's your only grandchild. He doesn't know her birthday still.
But that's just fucking
Can't
crazy.
change those spots, leopard.
Yeah, you can't. But
I know you, leopard. You can't change. That's great. This boy's life.
Yeah, I know you, leopard.
Hey, leopard. You can't change those spots, leopard.
I wish Diane would have that conversation with you, and you'd be like, "I get it, Diane." But I was telling you guys the story at the stand when we were out back about my mom, about my dad's girlfriend and his kids, and we started talking about that, about how they kind of hated me because I was Gary's real kid. They liked my dad, and I was I represented my mom, who to them, my mom was like, educated, had a good job, like, you know, was like, she was a bad bitch. Trisha's a bad bitch. She takes care of her shit. So I remember going to that family and them like giving me the attitude of like, whatever you fancy, like city kid. Cause it was like podunk fucking California. So they're like, oh, this faggy kid that reads books. I'm like, my mom forces me to read 3 American classics a summer. I'm sorry I have to do this. Trish makes me read fucking 3 books a summer. I'm going to get grounded if I don't, but they're like, Ferg. Like that, all that attitude when you walk in the room, like, what's up, Ferg? Like that kind of thing.
No.
And it sucks because it's the worst because you're the outside kid. You're like,
well, it's funny. My first stepmother, like, I don't know ultimately what her kids thought of me.
Yeah.
Because
so Diane was your second stepmom.
Yeah, they were older than me. You know, Kathy was great.
It's always funny when you have the good first one that's gone.
Dude, she was great.
Nick, my stepdad, was awesome.
Yeah, Kathy was. She was like a sing you to sleep at night.
Oh, Nick was
stepmom.
I told you, Nick built my mom a car.
He used to jerk me off till I fell asleep.
Nick let me suck his dick. How cool of a guy!
That guy's badass.
Oh, he lets me slobber his dick. This guy's the best. I can't tell anybody about our shirtless hugs or we can't be friends anymore.
Kathy was great. My stepbrothers, like, you know, thought of me what they thought of me. They were way older than me. So,
yeah.
Not way, but significantly. So, yeah, my stepmother was over. So the Nintendo thing, she got on the phone. I mean, she told me I ruined Christmas for an entire family.
How old were you when that happened?
That's laying that on about a 12, 13-year, about a 12-year-old, I think.
You can't lay that on a 12-year-old.
No.
You can't say you fucked up Christmas.
So then came the time with the porn.
Okay. Which is your dad's idea?
Then the big one. So my stepmother hates me so much. One summer I'm going up there, and I think I'm 16. It has to be the age I was. Yeah, I was 16. So I remember going there, and my stepfather goes, hey, you know, Diane, just like, she doesn't really trust you, and blah, blah. So you're here all summer. What I was told my punishment is I can't watch her children, who are going to be, I guess at that point, like 5 and 4 or something.
Which are also your half-brothers.
My half-brothers, which I couldn't give 2 fucks about watching them. You think, was at one point the plan was for me to come watch them every day?
Yeah, cool. I'm out of my, I don't have to do chores?
She doesn't trust you. I'm sorry, but I'm like, this is great. She goes, but it's going to be a little weird because if you're going to be hanging out at the house ever, like during the day, like there's a babysitter coming in. Babysitter was a 15-year-old girl who, I mean, this chick was off the fucking rails. Very quickly, as soon as they leave the house, she just lights up cigarettes, starts smoking. She's smoking weed. She's going in the thing and getting beers. Now, my dad would go, hey, I got a new handy cam from Sony if you want to record, you know, on these little tapes. You know, little Super 8 tapes?
Yeah.
If you want to record on the little tapes, your summer trip, if you want to do that. So I'm like, as soon as this girl starts going, I just start filming. And even at 16, I kind of
video evidence. Very smart.
Not even that. It has nothing to do with my stepmother. I just have the gift of gab, at least at this point still, to be like, I'm like, you wouldn't do that with your pants off.
This is Young Jay, the tales of Young Jay Oakerson. But when you're the tales of Little Jay Oakerson, where
dude, she's dropping pants. She's showing tit.
I love that you have the POV porn angle already at 16, where you're like, hey, you know what'd be really cool is you suck me off in this bathroom.
She's smoking butts, drinking beer. She's 15.
Is she still alive? Do you think? What's the over-under on her being alive or dead?
She's alive. She's definitely farted out several kids, and she lives in a real bad neighborhood.
Okay.
I don't know that. That's my guess.
Solid assessment. I hope she's a brain doctor.
She's she's drinking beers. Now all I'm thinking about is I want this girl's naked shit.
You're on some Jay shit.
I'm on some Jay shit on camera. So I'm not even thinking about the fact kids are running around with a full load in their diaper. They're crying. They're asking for food.
I want food. She's like,
none of this is my issue because I'm not responsible to handle this.
You just thumb the red button and you go, cut. What do you want? Just take your fucking underwear off.
Here's why I don't feel bad. The person who's so responsible that you don't want to get me involved in this is currently smoking a cigarette with her pussy. So
she did that?
I tried to get her too.
So hilarious.
I'm filming her. I dare to go out back.
You got her
naked.
doing.
I dare to go out back in her panties.
You got her doing
that.
Tijuana stripper tricks.
Yes.
Like, hey, can you make this whole cucumber disappear? She's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Dude, I think I made out with her a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't hook up with her at all. But that was the extent of it. But either way, she would like show tit and all. So my dad, I have such little respect for my father as a father, even at this point.
Yeah.
Especially like 16 or whatever. When he comes home that night, I'm like, dude, dare.
I love that you and your dad, by the way, my dad died too young for me to ever get that, like.
You would have had that at least.
We would absolutely.
It's probably the only reason me and my dad still talk, 'cause I'd show him, like, a picture of a chick me and Christine hooked up with or something like that, and he'd be like, nice.
Yeah,
So,
dude,
like,
I guarantee if my dad would have at least lived 2 more years, I would have had at least one moment where I'm like, what's up with Cheryl's big ass titties? He'd be like, right? I'm like, GTF? He'd be like, that's what Soder men do, buddy.
it'd be great if it'd be great if he pulls out a stack of Polaroids with a rubber band around him. Here you go, pal.
Yes, they're in chronological order. It ends with a splat, if you get it. But yeah, I never got to. That's like, people are like, what's the worst part about your dad dying? You're like, never being able to have one of those talks where you're like, hey, I've got a dick that works. And he's like, all right. Because I had to have it with my mom's boyfriend, Joe, who was the Swimmer Joe, who was the coldest dolphin in all of the sea.
He's my favorite person from your whole past.
He's a piece of shit.
Joe.
My mom, that's the only person my mom, whenever I say his name, my mom automatically apologizes for, where she just goes, I'm sorry about all that. Yeah. Well,
but he's the best character.
13 to 16, an immense amount of damage.
My dad gets home from work, and I'm like, dude, check this shit out.
Let me pop in this little tiny tape.
He sees his children. He sees the fruit of his loins running around the back row with a full load in the diaper.
I had a bad dream.
Crying. She's ripping cigs.
Yeah,
she's taking beers out of the
She's
fridge.
putting it out. She goes, hold on, shit. Trying to show your older brother my snatch. There, take a look at it.
Dude, I'm showing him. He's got... my stepmother's brother Joe comes in.
He's watching.
By the way, creepy in hindsight that they're looking at a 15-year-old girl.
I mean, it's not creepy. It's illegal.
Very illegal. But to me, I was 16. Didn't mean anything to me. I'm like, this is great.
You're right in that bracket.
So they're watching it. This is great. So
and then Diane.
No. So I'm leaving again for the summer. I go, Dad. I'm going to take these tapes. I'm just going to buy an adapter or something.
Yeah, or you buy the bigger tape that you could put them in the middle.
That's what I currently have.
You still have those tapes?
No.
Okay, it's like...
No, I got my other ex-girlfriend stuff, though.
Oh, okay. Oh, the Yeah, Jay, Yeah?
Yeah, I got the Yeah, Jay, Yes. But I also got the, whatchamacallit, the old comedy, me and Kurt stuff doing comedy.
Oh, shit. I want to see that.
Got to come over today. We got the VCR.
Fuck yes. I'll buy a VCR for that. I'll order one.
We have? Oh, we got rid of it. We still have it?
You guys have it?
Yeah.
I'm definitely coming over next week to watch it.
It's going to be great. So, I'm like, hey, Soder's got to get an adapter. He goes, no. Here he goes. I'll show you how to hook this thing up to the VCR, the camcorder. He goes, just tape that onto a big tape.
And what a sleazebag.
And then leave me
the big tape,
the little tape.
Okay. He wanted to watch it on the camera in his panic room. In the lab, in the laboratory, in the calm room.
He goes, just leave them here and I'll get rid of it. I go, I remember giving him like Dad, listen, we remember the porn tape debacle.
Yeah, we've been here before.
We've been here.
And public enemy number 1 is and always will be Diane.
I go, if Diane gets any word of this is not going to be, please erase him. He goes, I got it. He leaves. What happens, of course, the end of summer. I mean, like 2 weeks later, my little brother's first day of school ever. They're looking for a tape to tape this on. Of course, she plugs it in and sees her baby's running around while some girl's like punching herself in the asshole.
And you're just going, yeah.
Of course, she goes right to my dad, who goes like, I can't believe he would take part.
What shit.
And I get the phone call again with Diane on the line telling me that I've corrupted her children. I've just destroyed everything in her house, and possibly her kids have psychological damage now, which, by the way, I'm like, sure, all those things. But you told me I couldn't handle this alone.
Yeah. So
I wasn't going to smoke cigarettes and drink beers and show my twat or anything to these kids. I would have just probably played with them or tried to occupy them with stuff and do my own thing.
So then she's like, you're banished.
I mean, look, she got like over it technically in a sense where it's like,
they never get over it.
But she's not, as I'm saying, she's not over it. To this day, she just does not like, she couldn't give two shits about, but you said that was the stepmother though. When you said, was I public enemy from day number one? From the first time I went there, and I wasn't for sure what she was maybe picturing even or hoping for.
Yeah.
Right away, it was a very, like, that feeling you said they always go. It's like, that's just a reminder. It goes, oh, this guy fucked other people before me.
Yeah, oh, that's
Look,
exactly.
Christine, man, I give Christine a lot of credit and Carla a lot of credit in so many respects with this stuff. Like, it's very, but Christine seems to have a genuine affection for Isabella and cares
absolutely.
for her greatly.
I've actually seen, it's actually it's very heartwarming to see when Isabella and Carla come and hang out. It's great to watch Christine, the way Christine interacts with Carla and Isabella.
Yeah, I think
it's very healthy.
Carla and her get along very well.
But it's just very healthy.
I'm sure there's some underlying somethings, but
Listen,
like it's nothing surface and it's nothing that's like
But there's always going to be weirdness with the fact that Christine is in a way replacing, Isabella's mom. So that's going to be weird for Isabella.
Sure.
But I've watched how Isabella and Christine have interacted the entire time, and it's great. It's great. Christine's awesome with Isabella. Isabella likes Christine. So
it's a big thing. As I'm saying before. I think Carla would genuinely help Christine if she needed it. Vice versa. Christine.
But see, it's kind of opposite in our way that we're talking about it right now, because you got Joe quickly, who all of a sudden just jumped in. They got married, they had kids, and now he's your stepdad, but he's like more of a dad than your actual dad.
Because he's there, yeah.
Because he's there, and he's there every day. And I went through it with mom's boyfriends, or after Nick, who was a great stepdad. I remember used to think it was crazy when my dad would call our house and Nick would pick up and they would talk for like 5 minutes. I'd be like, hey, want to talk to my dad? Get off the phone, you big lug. I don't give a fuck about. But it was now in hindsight,
it's a great thing.
It was great because my dad liked Nick and was like, hey, Nick, how you doing? What's going on? And like, my dad had the gift of gab, so they would fucking sit on the phone. But then to experience after all the shitty boyfriends who fucking hated me because they were like, oh, God damn it, who's this kid? Like, I got to deal with this kid. And then you'd go through the shitty boyfriends and you're like, man, fuck all those guys.
I almost wonder if my stepmom came out of the gates on fire because my dad didn't leave my mom for Kathy, the second one, or the first mother. But he left Kathy for Diane.
Which, by the way, and you liked Kathy, and I guarantee that was some friction.
I like Kathy very much, and she was great. Even she stayed in touch for a while beyond my dad's splitting, which was fair, and then not at all, and that's fine.
Do you know what's funny about that? Nick stayed in my life from, I think my parents, my mom and him got divorced when I was 11 or 12, they got divorced, and he stayed in my life until I was 14, because I remember last time I saw him was when I broke my shoulder playing football, and he came over while I was all fucked up on Percocets, and I was like, I was real fucked up yesterday. Nick was in the living room, and Joe was like, no, he came. And I remember him and Joe didn't get along, and I was like, man, Nick's the shit. So if you don't get along with him, Trisha drove his ass off because she was crazy. But Joe, I remember, didn't like Nick. I was like, I don't trust this motherfucker.
If you don't like Nick, Nick's too good of a dude.
Yeah. And I think people can feel that. I feel like parents can feel that shit when they know that you, or like stepmoms know when you liked someone else better.
If I had to guess in 20 some years, I'd have to guess that my mother and Diane have spoken 10 times, tops.
In 20 years?
10 times.
I mean, yeah, but
you say there's not a lot of reasons, but there are. I was a child for most of that. So, like, any interaction if my mom called when I was this is before cell phones when I would visit there, you know what I mean? Like,
or she'd have to call to talk to you.
Yeah, it was just so weird, man. But my stepmother, out of the gates, man, very just not a nice woman.
It's crazy that you bring that up because that's how my dad and my aunt were. My grandparents got divorced, and my grandfather remarried twice. First time, the wife and my grandma got along great. The new one, Diane, fucking hated my dad and my aunt. Did not let my aunt in the room when my grandfather was dying.
Well, to wrap up the story
here. So it's like
here,
crazy shit. I mean, it's almost like match Sons of Gary. To
wrap up the story on the most trouble you get into.
Yeah.
Was fucking that phone call was again like, I've destroyed her home and like I've corrupted her children.
Even though a 15-year-old.
By the way, also said that I got this girl. This girl was like a really good like church going, but this girl wasn't. I only did this because I'm like, this chick right away. She was like, are you cool if I like drink a beer and smoke a butt? She's like, oh God. She's
like an old factory worker.
I mean, literally she was saying stuff. She goes, I'm really good at giving blowjobs. Just like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it was like really out of the gates crazy.
Yeah.
So I filmed this stuff, and like, she said what a piece of shit I was, and I corrupted this girl and fucked this girl up and all this stuff. And then my dad's like, we can't believe we'd let you into our house. You do something like this. And I've started doing like the dad. He's like, I don't want to hear it. It's like, we got to talk more and blah, blah. And then he hangs up, and I got a phone. And my mom will tell you this because it was like a house phone still.
Yeah.
The phone rang back like 2 minutes later, and he goes, yeah, he's like, I feel bad. He was like, I got to live with her. He goes, the same thing. He was like, I got to live with her. He goes, if you could just like, that's like, just like, she'll get over it. She's fine, but you don't live here. I have to live here with her. I'm like, wow, what a jack off.
Did you ever tell your mom that he did that?
Oh, yeah.
And did your mom ever confront him about it?
He told me I could order Girls Gone Wild videos on his credit card as my birthday present.
I mean, you really are your father's son.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Holy shit.
He said I can get it.
That's like if my dad called and did happy birthday songs in voices.
And then my dad, but then when they got the bill, came to the house, and I guess my stepmother does the financial. Like he told her that I just got his numbers and took them, and it's like
Sons of Gary ride together, and now you're better off. You got a radio show. Fucking, we got to take a break because we were supposed to take one a long time ago.
This was a fun talk.
But this is, by the way, this is a prepared. This is one of those things that our corporate bosses love so much about us. Just a prepared, nice.
We had a topic. We wrote it out.
By the way, we're doing all father and son music today when we come back on the Bonfire.
My boy, we're just like
what childhood? It's the Bonfire. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy, and you're listening to The Bonfire with Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder.
Oh, that's Ugly Kid Joe covering Harry Chapin's Cats in the Cradle. It's The Bonfire, Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. I'm Dan Soder. That's Big J. Oakerson, who's been muted by our producer, Lou.
There we are.
Lou hates you, but he loves me.
Why does
Just like Diane.
Oh, you like Diane? Diane was just like a Lou. We have a caller here. I'm very excited to speak to her.
First time calling on the show, but one of one of our biggest fans, one of the best people in the world.
Cool. Well, before I even bring her on, I'm going to say, speaking of our Twitter family and the Bonfire extended family, of course, when I was in Grand Rapids, Michigan,
yes,
I got to meet GoPack Joe came out with Crystal. They came
to our last live show.
Yes, they're become a couple from Twitter.
That's great.
Banana Peel, you know that name? From Twitter. Her husband, super cool. They came. Two guys that came out to see you when you did Hustler Club with Lewis.
Yeah.
These two dudes came out that are from. Dude, it was so cool. It's like the live I found there in Grand Rapids.
I got to meet
Dr. Grins, man, so cool.
A lot of Bonfire fans at the San Francisco Punchline too, which is always awesome. Like Memo and Zach Soto. Meet Zach. He always tweets at us. Jack dude in a tank top, but just one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, no,
gave me a T-shirt. It was fucking awesome.
They're really, really, the Bonfire family continues to grow, and it's always so cool to see you guys when you come out, man. Please continue to do so. One of our head counselors here at the Bonfire, Stephanie Falcone, is on the phone. Right. And look, you get a round of applause, Stephanie. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Oh, guys.
You're not some regular old dumb caller. You get a round of applause.
Stephanie, you said that we were talking about what it's like to be the outside child coming into a family, and you had an opposite experience.
Yeah, you guys gave me a lot of perspective tonight, actually, because I always bitch about my dad and how he wasn't really the greatest. But then hearing you guys talk, I'm like, I have an older half-sister that has completely cut him off at this point. Like, he was her Gary, and I kind of, felt a little bit, not better, because he still wasn't great, but I feel like I shouldn't bitch as much.
Wait, so you're saying that you were so that was your half-sister, and then she cut off.
So she's saying her half-sister is like me,
yeah,
and she is like my dad's new kids.
Yeah, got it.
Yes.
Jay with dad. Yeah. Jay with dad, as
That's
I call
exactly
him.
what Dan said. My dad, my brother looks like his Jay with a dad, and it's true. But by the way, I don't wish anything other than that on him.
Still your brother.
I'm so happy that my dad was like, but my dad's like literally been to all their sporting events and all that. You know, he was very involved, which is great.
So, Steph, did you not like your older sister, or were you like, why is she such a bitch to Dad?
Like, so one weekend a month where she'd come and sleep over, I got to have, like, I'm the big sister. It's me and my younger sister. So, like, there was one weekend a month where I got to have a big sister and have somebody to, like, look up to. So it was super exciting for me.
Yeah,
but
I had actually a similar situation. My sister was my half-sister, and she was Gary's first kid, and she did the same thing where she was like, he just took off and then had his different family and was like, hey, come meet your brother. He's 4. And I'm like, hi, lady. And then thank God my sister was cool as shit, and she just like my mom, Trish, was actually the one that was like, no, your sister's going to be in your life. So my mom would fly out my dad's first kid to hang out with me and her former stepmom. Because at this point, my parents were already divorced.
Yeah.
So my sister would hang out with me and my mom, but was cool as shit. And it was like we had a no Gary's party. It was like, no Gary's allowed.
Oh, my mom couldn't have possibly afford, at the time, that would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Although, quite honestly.
Well, also, my sister was 12 years older than me, so she was a full grown, like.
That's fair.
When I was 10 years old, my sister was 22, so she could afford to fly out.
I'm guessing also that my stepmother probably would have never, ever let her kids be sent to stay with my mom.
Oh, man, could you imagine that? If she was just like, you're going to go stay with Jason and his mom.
I know. I was always hoping one of my 2 brothers would have murdered somebody so I could have been like, oh, you see? Look how good you are. You're so great, huh?
Oh, that's great.
my sister lived like an hour away, so we definitely could have hung out more, but it was just my dad's. And I see it more now that I'm an adult and don't live with him, that he just, like, if you reach out to him, cool, he'll talk to you. If you say, hey, do you want to do dinner, we'll do it, but he doesn't take the step.
Yeah.
So
how much older is your sister?
She's, I think, 15 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so
that's exactly like mine.
I see. I'm 11 years older than...
No. I'm actually probably closer to like 10, maybe.
Okay.
I haven't seen her in like 15 years. We talk on Facebook and shit, but she's got 3 kids. I've got 2 nieces and a nephew that I've never met.
Yeah.
See, that's weird, and you start getting a guilt about that. I say that all the time with my brothers in Ohio, my 2 brothers. Is I'm like, should I have put more of an effort? But now the thing is, like, just that they're in their 20s. I'm in my 30s. They're almost 30, I guess.
Isabella's 14. She's got uncles. Uncle Louis J. Gomez. Uncle Dave Smith.
Uncle Dave Smith.
Uncle Kurt Metzger. Uncle Dan Soder.
Godfather Kurt Metzger.
Yeah, God. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, God, he's ranting again.
Oh, yes, yeah. I have to teach you about the Lord.
Yeah, what a great bunch of uncles and fucking...
No, it is, and she's not missing out in that regard, but if it makes sense, you do feel the thing when you're the older one.
Yeah.
This is not your fault, Stephanie, in this regard, where you're,
right.
It does come down to a thing where I was like, I have had as an adult some guilt where it's like, should I have put the effort in to know my brothers? But the thing is, you know what made me feel good about my grandmother, who's the most like liberal and just sweetest, like love everybody and be good to each other, like person. My grandmother's gentle, to say the least. She goes, your father didn't make any effort to make these kids for you to feel this kinship towards them. And like, she's right. I don't feel like they're, and that's what I don't feel a family towards them. I like them and they're good kids, it seems like. And I wish them the best, but I don't feel a tightness to them.
Well, that's the whole thing.
If they got married, like, I'd hope I had something to do during that weekend.
You're like, please book me anywhere.
Repeatedly throwing you under the bus with that part of the family. It's like that definitely doesn't develop family bonds.
The whole family thinks I'm derelict.
You're treated like an outsider in that family.
You're treated like
life.
a fuck up even more, and that's going to be more damaging to kids. Like, oh, my older brother Jason's a fuck up, whereas my mom was like, your sister Michelle is great. I love her. She's going to be out here. She's going to come out here twice a year. I'm going to pay for one ticket. She's going to pay for the other. She's going to be actively involved in your life, to where my sister felt welcomed, felt, she had a guest room. It really did help that younger, because we were very close up until she died, that being like, real tight.
Stephanie, how was your sister referred to your whole life as half sister?
I think it was more like, this is your sister, and I was like, but Melanie's my sister, and we have both the same parents. So, like, I asked for clarification of it.
So basically, you were just shitty to her? You go, oh, you mean the half-blood? No, I don't recognize her.
Half-breed.
I asked my mom, I was like, how come Sarah only comes once in a while, but Melanie's here all the time. And,
She's like,
you know,
well, 'cause
she
Melanie's
explains,
just a
well,
bitch
your dad was
bastard.
before, and-
Because I should have thrown her off a cliff.
Oh, that's one thing I found very interesting. My brother and sisters from my mom and Joe.
Yeah.
Like, I've never thought to call them half siblings.
Yeah, 'cause
and by the
you
way,
grew up
I
in the
didn't say,
household.
the reality is, I'm not mega close with them because I'm so much older than them.
So here's the weird thing.
I'm 11, 15, and 19 years older than them, so I'm not very close to them, but they're my brother and sisters. My stepmother had made a point my entire life to keep pointing. She goes, "Oh, look, kids, your half brothers here to visit."
That's just shitty.
It's
on
like, why
Diane's
would you
part.
even say it like
That's
to
just
these
shitty
children?
That's shitty on Diane's part. That's just fucking terrible. Because that's crazy you say that. It's funny how all our lives, like your childhood and my childhood, just kind of come together in a weird way. Because my sister was where you were at, where she lived at home with her mom, and her mom, while my dad had me, Dan, in June of '83. Her mom had Dawn in July of '83. So my sister had a half brother named Dan and a half brother named Don. One she lived
Don?
with, Donald. He's great.
Ugh.
He's a good dude.
I don't care.
I do.
Terrible name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. You know, Donald's. It's a classic.
I'm sure Donald's a great dude. You got to develop personality when your name's Don and you're a child baby. Look at baby Don. Give me a cigar.
I want to fuck your friend.
Yeah. Do you have Cavassier?
I always smell like cologne, and I'm a baby.
I'm gonna suck your mom's tits. I'm Don.
I'm doing it for pleasure, not for sustenance. Yeah, but my sister had both of those, you know, Dan and Dawn, and then so when she was killed, it was like me and him, we don't have a connection,
Yeah.
but I still send him emails. Like, he's got a totally different life. He's got like 4 kids in San Diego. He's like, you know, this like family man, and I'm like, I played Madden until 3. It's like, I gotta go to Boston for a show next week. But it's like, I always wonder, because that's the connection. Because that'd be like if your mom and Joe's kids talked to your dad, to your brothers on that side.
Yeah.
That's what that relation is.
Yeah.
So without you, there's no connection.
And they don't at all. Yeah.
So I mean, me and Don talk maybe once a year via Facebook.
Yeah.
But we're not brothers. We're
Of course.
we're not related at all.
Yeah.
We had that connection. So it's kind of weird when that happens. When you're like, oh, there's really, like when my sister died, I was like at her funeral, like, well, Don, I think this is it for us, huh, buddy? It was a good run. Well, see you later.
Merkface just dropped a hammer. I didn't know this. Merk, you have a microphone over
You're
there?
my dead sister. Oh my God! Merkface has been my sister.
Merkface is Don. He's been Don the whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah, my older sister is my half sister now, but my parents never told us that she was a half sister. She's 51. She's like 15 years older than me.
Yeah.
Half breed.
I grew up. We grew up under the assumption, me and my younger sister, that was just our older sister, because our dad's all old and weird. So we're like, oh, my parents just had...
Yeah, had one and then waited.
Yeah, right? So...
Such emotional conversations.
I was like,
half breed.
By the way, to bring it all back, my mom went to high school with Cher. You didn't know that? No. Cher's from Fresno. So is Trish the Dish.
Oh my God, Christine's pubes just stood up.
My mom knows a real dumb Armenian. I know you're Armenian. Or dumb Armenian.
Yeah, Christine was a bunch of dumb Armenians. She is
Sherilyn
one of them.
Sarkeesian.
Yeah, my mom was like, she was a bitch.
Yeah, so I had cousins in town visiting, and all my cousins are so much older. They're like aunts and uncles aged.
Yeah.
And they were talking about stories about like growing up. They're like, yeah, when Maria used to come over, you know, your dad, and then your dad came along when she was like 8 or 9, and he really, you know, she all of a sudden didn't get all the attention from her mom. In the back, I never said anything. In the back of my head, I'm like, what?
Yeah, when
So
you
that
start...
dad, so
That's
her
how I found out.
Her dad ditched.
Yes, her dad. My mom got knocked up when she was like 20, and that guy, I have no idea who that is. Gone. And then my dad came along years later. I'm my dad's first kid.
So that's crazy. My grandma's brother, my great uncle, who I called Uncle Eddie, he had his whole family, and they were closer to me in age. They're like, you know, I'm 33. They were like 36, 37. 5 years ago, my grandma always saw me. She said, well, Eddie has a daughter that's 55. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And she goes, well, that's his first child. I'm like, you never told me I had a different cousin? She's like, wow, Dan, it wasn't any of your business. I'm like, well, these people are just popping up late in life?
Yeah, I had no idea. My parents
That's
probably
crazy.
never would have told us if I didn't randomly find out.
How did you bring that up to your parents?
It's still
Just the
not
song
really been
is
broached.
so ridiculous.
Really?
Well, here's the thing. I told when I was on the fence about telling my little sister because she's fucking insane about shit like that.
Gab.
So one night I got drunk and I was like, "Hey, Maria's not our real sister."
You just played her this.
Jesus Christ.
You just played her this Cher song. You got
Hey, Maria. Hey, Maria, do me a favor. Can you pass the biscuits?
Hey, can Maria sleep inside even though she's a
Stephanie, here's the great news. You could always know you're from the side of the family that felt love and adoration and was taken care of.
you weren't shunned.
That much love, to be real. In 8th grade, my dad told me he didn't want me to listen to Eminem, and I told him off. I said, "You've never tried to parent me before. Why don't you start now?" So,
Ooh,
Yeah, that was my Al Bundy moment.
I did get a standing ovation from my mother when I said that. But
Standing ovation. It's
like
great when the parents just really
slow
don't like
clap.
each other. When the
Yeah.
parents really don't like each other, you can do all that stuff. He goes, I told my dad that Diane was a cunt and to go fuck himself. And she's like, I don't like that language, but that's, yeah.
Dude, I remember when my mom and Joe started going sour, and Joe would just really start putting it on me, and then
I'll be at the pool.
I gotta go swim some laps, get out of my own head. But dude, I remember he'd be like fucking taking me to town, and then my mom would be like, "All right, that's my son," and I'd be like, "Thank you, finally." Where was this 3 years ago?
Hey, best child Stephanie. While we have you on the phone,
Best childhood.
what's the most trouble you got into as a kid?
probably in 3rd grade, we did a field trip to the aquarium.
And I killed a kid. Oh my!
You fucked a barracuda?
Out of my dad's wallet to go to the gift shop with.
You took what?
Oh.
How
I
much?
took $60 out of my dad's wallet. $60.
$60? That's the most trouble you ever got? You're a good kid, Stephanie.
You're a real good person.
I honestly, I've done nothing. I'm too good. It doesn't make sense.
Now's the time. Kill a drifter.
Do it now. You deserve it.
Oh, no.
I'll splurge for my birthday this weekend.
Kill your half-sister.
Yeah. Make the bloodline pure again.
Your birthday's this week. When's your birthday?
It's on Saturday.
Happy birthday,
What is
Steph.
that? Is that the... What's the day of the week? Or what's the date?
12/2.
The day of the week of Saturday is Saturday.
No, I know. I meant what was the date? Smart
The
ass.
3rd.
Oh, it's the 3rd?
The 3rd?
That's my ex-girlfriend's birthday, so I will not wish you a happy birthday.
Guess what? Mine's December 7th. Yeah.
The birthday buddies.
That's right. We're birthday buddies. Me, you, and Patrice O'Neill. Patrice O'Neill's also December 7th.
Nice.
We're the
Mine
coolest.
is, I've got Ozzy Osbourne on mine, so that's
Why don't you guys go suck each other's dicks somewhere else? I'm sick of all this December birthday talk. I'm a June baby. Summer baby, right, Andy?
Yeah. Not us. We got to bring...
You can share your birthday with my shitty dad.
Cool.
Yeah, my half-breed sister's December 1st too.
Half-breed. Dan, you and your shitty birthday can suck his own dick while me and Stephanie are getting cupcakes brought to school.
Oh, you fuckers. I never got to celebrate in school, you
Yeah.
pompous
Oh,
assholes.
my mom got to flex her mom muscles and make cupcakes once a year.
Trish was coasting, and that was in year-round school, too, which means it could have happened.
December birthdays. Everybody always tries to pull something with Christmas. So.
That's the problem. You have to be early. You have to be in the single digits of December to possibly get both. And then fucking I had that Jewish side of the family too, where Hanukkah's date is floating every year.
Well, we're not really nailing it down each year. We like to see what's going on, the
Sometimes
possibilities.
my birthday's in Hanukkah, and then sometimes it's way before, and then Christmas overlaps it, and then my dad hates me, and then I told someone I got a Nintendo, and then I fingered a fucking 15-year-old while my dad watched. It's all confusing.
We'll be right back. It's the Bonfire.
Hey campers, last year 23 million people had deliveries stolen from their doorways. And with more and more of us going online for holiday shopping, package theft has become big business. You know what they're called, Dan? Porch pirates. I call them scumbags. And these guys, jerks, walk up to your door when you're not home and steal your packages. A Ring video doorbell can prevent this from happening to you. Ring's wide-angle camera, built-in motion detection, and two-way speaker let you see and speak with anyone at your door from your smartphone. That's going to be the most fun thing Just like terrifying anyone dropping off anything.
I want to install it.
Mailman, back away. No matter where you are, you're instantly alerted. Give crooks the fright of their lives when you catch them in the act. I mean, I'd literally be like, you might as well take it now, porch pirate, because we're coming for you. Oh, you let them know they're being recorded? That's so great. The Ring video doorbell works on any home, and it's easy to install in just minutes. It's like a ring of security around your front door. It makes a great gift, and my listeners, and Dan's also, if I'm being honest,
I mean, yeah,
get up to $150 off when you go to ring.com/comedy. Treat yourself and your loved ones to peace of mind this holiday season, and maybe a little fun with a bad person. Save up to $150 today at ring.com/comedy. That's ring.com/comedy.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you're listening to The Bonfire with Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder. And when we say Big J, we mean Big J. Who the hell's Big J?
We're back. It's The Bonfire. Stunt-free since 2015. Big J. Oakerson, Dan Soder, Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. Jake goes into a hole.
We're not stunting on you. We ain't no half stunt. We ain't no half stunting morky ass.
We're not half stunt. Well, I'll tell you what we are.
Morky ass
half breeds.
Oh, hit it!
I do it. Oh, I thought you were gonna be all over that when you heard the word half.
Yeah, you know, not half stunting. Half.
We're just half breeds.
I was too busy giggling.
Half breeds.
Oh, you know us. We're just half breeds.
God damn it, Lou.
You know we are half
breeds.
Maybe we do need
This
prep.
is easy.
God,
You know what? I'm unprepared. I didn't prep. I was caught my pants down for this.
This stunt has failed.
Oh, new blood will make it work better.
This show was growing towards a great half-breed joke, and we weren't able to grow it.
New blood will help. You know what wouldn't help? Half breed.
Half breed.
Half breed. Half breed. We covered it. We covered the subject of what it's like to join a family from the outside, and we covered the what it's like to be the young child with the half-breed joining you. But what we haven't done is this is Jake in Wisconsin, who actually was an adopted kid into an already existing family. What's up, Jake?
Not much. What happened was my parents said they couldn't conceive children.
Okay.
And I got adopted.
How old were you? How old were you when you were adopted?
I was a baby.
Okay, so you were a child. So they gave you up like, it wasn't like
an actual baby.
Yeah, you weren't like one of those 7-year-olds where you're like, I have memories of my old family. And,
White Jake in Wisconsin? That's a first day pickup.
Yeah, you were easily top 5 draft pick.
It's on the market very limited.
People were stomping over it like,
I want a Jake. Does his name come Jake? I want it.
He comes named like a Cabbage Patch.
It's like Black Friday for kids.
Get out of my way. There's a white Jake. Grab him.
There's 2 old ladies fist fighting outside of a Walmart.
Grabbing them. So you were a baby when you were adopted?
Yeah, I was like 7 months old. I was actually born in Poland.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, a Polish baby.
And when I became 13 years old, my parents were like, oh, yeah, by the way, we didn't think it was possible, but we conceived a child. They're like, we're having a little girl. So I was like, oh, I'm having a little sister, and my dad's a judge. So he's a straightforward guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's not technically your sister. Oh. I wasn't their kid. I was adopted.
Wait, did you? So wait, hold on, real quick.
What the fuck did I tell you that for?
Wait, Jake. So before, when your father told you that you weren't having a sibling because it's not your blood sibling, did you already know you were adopted?
I did not.
So he told you that A, they were having a kid, B, that it's not your sibling, because C, you're adopted? He went through all those things in one conversation?
Is this how he broke it to you? Hey.
It was like a 3-hour conversation, but yeah, like I was only 13, so I didn't understand.
He goes, would the conversation start with how many Polacks does it take to ruin a biological family?
Answer. Look in the mirror.
Half breed.
No breed. No breed.
I'm 31 now, and my sister. Well, I still call her my sister because I grew up with her.
Yeah, she's your sister, Jake. You were raised in the same house as her.
You were there before her. You got tenure.
Yeah.
As I said, my dad's a judge. My mom's the accountant for the city, and my sister's now going to school for accounting. And I quit my job to try to do comedy.
Oh.
And that was 3 years ago, and I haven't talked to my dad since then.
Okay.
He's like, he's like, not even my kid. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, he's like, cool. I don't know.
That's pretty much what it's like. He's like,
well, I don't have to worry about any parent jokes because I don't know.
Did he really like? You didn't follow in the family's like the career path, so he kind of like wrote you off?
Yeah, like growing up, after he told me I was adopted, I realized like, oh yeah, I can tell like we have different mannerisms. Like as I said, he's a straightforward guy. He's no bullshit.
He's black.
No. It's small town Wisconsin.
He's whiter than you. That's a cause for alarm. Oh, God. He's not pink like our entire family. He's a little more of a peach color.
You were always begging him to get kielbasa on Thanksgiving. Yeah. Like, it's not a kielbasa holiday.
It's just weird. I mean, like, for the first 13 years of my life, I thought they're actually my parents, and then you don't talk to them because...
Did you feel like a dip off in actual like love and attention when your sister was born?
Oh yeah, like when I was growing up, I was a free sport athlete in high school, and my parents came probably like 2 events total.
Oh Jesus! Wow.
And then my sister's born, and they go to everything for her.
Oh, that sucks, dude. Do they know? Have you ever had a conversation with them about that?
Yeah, I have, and it's like. They're like, oh, back then we didn't have the time, but they're doing the same exact thing that they did back then.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So what do you do? Like Thanksgiving, did you go there to their house?
I have not been to I haven't talked to them in 3 years.
Wow. Who's withdrawing more, you or them? Or is it kind of mutual?
Like I still talk to my sister here and there, but like she's going to school now, so she's busy as well.
What about your mom? Because I know your dad said that he kind of wrote you off when you said you wanted to do comedy. Did your mom write you off too?
I haven't. I talked to my mom if I see her at a grocery store, like she'll talk for like 5 minutes, but it's not like related at all.
Wow. Wait, so you bump into your mom that doesn't talk to you at the grocery store? You live in the same city as them still?
Yeah, because as I said, I quit my job to try to do comedy, so I'm not making much money. So I'm living here with my friends and stuff. So,
well, you know, it's funny. You didn't shit the bed in the lottery of adoptive parents, I guess, because it sounds like you had a life, like you were clothed and like housed, and like I guess like to some degree, did you feel love growing up at all, or did you feel it was a cold family always?
I mean, I felt like we loved each other growing up. Then all of a sudden, my sister came along, and I just felt it drop off. Like
so yeah.
Were you? It's such a weird thing to just announce it all to you. Then why don't you just say, "Hey, you're having a little sister"?
It lacks a lot of humanity to be like.
Hey, I'm saying, like, where's the warmth in any of that?
Yeah, there's got to be some like, listen, we're still going to love you. Did they say that during the conversation?
Well, yeah, they said they loved me and they'll always be there for me and stuff like that. But
they're like, just not as much as we're going to be there for your sister because you're a damn dirty Polak and she's a full-blooded American. So. Bye.
So bye. I don't know.
I don't know. What does half-breed mean? I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, Jake, I'm so well, guess what? You're a part of the Bonfire family now.
You are, buddy.
Yeah, I just want to say, I'm a big fan of the show. I've been listening since the beginning. I love this show. I love what you guys do with it. So.
Well, we wish.
Should we change anything?
I wouldn't. You guys are doing pretty good.
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate it, buddy.
And
you're always family here, buddy.
And what comedy club do you live nearby?
The closest one's an hour and a half away from me. It's in Appleton, Wisconsin. It's a small one.
Yeah, I know.
Comedy on State.
Yeah, no. He lives by Skyline Comedy Club in Appleton. Just
move.
Yeah, move. I mean, have you ever thought about moving to like a city with a good scene, like Chicago?
Tell your shitty parents to give you money to move, and you'll get out of their fucking lives forever.
Tell them you'll piss off forever for $5K in a fucking decent Geo Metro.
Geo Tracker, man.
Get a tracker.
Trying to pick up some 97 puss.
Yeah, I'm thinking about moving, but as of right now, I don't have any funds for it. So
Well, here's the deal, man. Here's the one thing I can tell you: if you're a comic in a very small town, I started comedy in Tucson. Go get 2 jobs and write jokes for 6 months, and then move to Chicago, Boston, Denver, Austin. A smaller city where you can learn how to do comedy and then make the move to New York or LA. But I'm telling you, man,
it's hard to grow.
Go
right
to a place with a scene. You got to be in a scene if you're going to get good at comedy. You have to get up as much as possible.
Austin, Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville's got a great scene, but Denver, San Fran, Seattle. There's Chicago's one of the best. Yeah. Boston, like I said, just go to one of those cities and start putting in the work because you got to get stage time.
Even Philly at this point.
Philly's great. Yeah, Philly's got a bunch of good small rooms.
And you're always like a commutable distance to New York or something like that.
Yeah, just go do that. Fuck your parents.
Yeah.
All right.
They're not your real parents anyway.
Exactly. No harm, no foul. Go move to a city with a good scene, and then you can make a bunch of money and tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Jake.
Get there and be somebody.
Yeah. Jake, take care, brother. Thanks for the call.
You too, man. Thanks for everything.
That was what a cool day of
Shit got real.
interactions.
Shit got real.
She got mad real.
Shit got therapeutic.
Still hilarious.
Almost a hobby, if you will.
We've almost put Jacob in the dirt.
Dude, Jacob, yeah, we're not going to put Jacob anymore in the dirt. It will be fine if we just like fucking poking the bear.
We only have a few minutes left, but I want to tell you about,
Well, this is going to seg us into Monday.
Yes, it is. But I did Burlington, Vermont this weekend.
Yeah, the Vermont Comedy Club.
I would describe it as not my kind of town.
I could have guessed that, but I would have thought very liberal town. I love the club.
I think liberal has done. Listen, I had great crowds there. Most of the first show, Friday was the only show where I was like, I thought they were just kind of like, when I got out there, I put a bad taste in my mouth for the rest of the weekend.
They were kind of stuffy first.
Even though every other crowd was very receptive and very great.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, completely, like, headlined by the Sunday. The Sunday show was amazing. It got so dark and funny and, like, weird with these people, you know, because I mix it up with the crowd.
Exactly.
And it was awesome. And they were great. The club's nice enough. It's everything, but it's like, again, I get frustrated with that whole thing, like, the definition of liberal to conservative type people is like, it's all backwards to me. I hate this like a dummy, but like the more people say it's like a liberal, cool, hippie dip. Fenoy was like, it's a hippie dippy town, man, of like cool, laid back, mellow people. I go, and right, and they're the ones when you go like,
you say
someone goes, I'm half black, or they were like, I don't know my dad. I'm like, so he's the black one, right? And instead of just laughing about that, that's like clearly a joke and a funny joke and probably right. They all just like, it's just one of those like, oh, it's like they're so liberal, they're trying to.
But here's the thing:
it's not liberal and loose. They're liberal where it's like, let's not upset anything at all ever.
Yeah.
Or at least a conservative crowd.
Here's my entire thought.
You can't upset. They don't get upset. I don't think those Bible Belt people do get that upset.
They do about language and God. But I'll tell you this right now: I don't care about your political affiliations. If you're too far left or you're too far right, you're not good for comedy. If you're too far right and you're like
fun.
You're not fun. If you're too far right, you're restrictive about language. You don't, if you're too conservative, you don't want to hear about sex. You don't think that kind of shit. And if you're too far left, if you bring up a pronoun, they'll get upset. I've seen it happen. I was in San Francisco at the Punchline, very liberal city as well. And I'll tell you this, and I had the same feeling, and I'll say this about the Vermont Comedy Club. I told Tim Dillon, who was opening for me that weekend, I go, sometimes I'm more nervous in front of a very liberal crowd about what I'm going to say, more so than a very conservative crowd, because I feel like I can be more stern with the conservative crowd and be like, guys, it's a fucking joke.
And you can break them.
You can break them. Whereas the liberal crowd, they're like, you've upset us and we're leaving.
You're a terrible person.
You're a bad person. So I'll say this, if you're too far left or too far right, you're just wrong in general. If you're all the way left or you're all the way right, you're probably going to be wrong, because
it can't be that all or nothing.
That's what I hate about our political system, is it's two parties. I don't agree with both parties.
And how I thought about Burlington as a place overall was that it was very like...
See, I like Vermont. I like Burlington because it reminded me a lot of Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
Which is very similar. It's very crunchy.
Listen, in fairness, I was out there Thanksgiving weekend, and, school wasn't in session.
Yeah.
The place was just kind of dead. The crowds were nice size and everything. It had nothing to do with that. I just felt like there was... maybe over the course of the weekend, like 6 fans. I'm not exaggerating at all.
Yeah, that's a tough.
No one
Well,
knew
Burlington's
who I
also-
was, including the fucking host, who was. I mean, listen. I say this about myself a lot. I don't think I'm a good host for things.
I'm a terrible host.
I think I'm a terrible host. That said,
comedy show host, I'm a terrible host.
What I do is I engage the crowd when I host something. I get them pumped up. No matter the first time I say, "All right, you guys ready to get this thing started? Let's get some energy in the room." If they lose their fucking minds with energy, I still do the, "Come on, guys! I want to hear everybody in here. Get some energy up, and I want you and make this next person feel like it's they're coming out to a blah blah blah." Whatever, all that just nonsensical jibber jabber. Just again, I'm like,
it's crowd control,
and building energy.
but it's crowd.
I certainly wouldn't do. I've never hosted sitting on a stool, and I sit on a stool when I do comedy. I would never do that.
Wait, did the host this weekend do?
No, but he did it with his fucking hand in his pocket.
Well, here's
most
the thing.
of the time, and said, and I had a host not too long ago at another comedy club. Look, give everybody a chance, and I will allow several guest spots per show on my shows. I don't care.
If you're a comic and you're in the city,
I want to help local people.
Stage time is very important, so I understand.
Look, a fucking host that doesn't just go. So, I was working at a store recently, and the guy was like, and the punchlines are all like something sort of clever.
A couple months ago, I worked at a club, and I told you this. I think I told you the story. I've never seen a host panic as fast as I saw this guy, where I was in the green room and I walked outside and I was like, what happened on stage? He just got on stage and someone's like, oh no, he's just like bombing. And he was like, are you married? Oh, that's crazy. What are you? And you're like, oh my God, this guy's in full panic.
Terrified.
This guy's fucking tail spinning.
My guy, Dr. Grins, wasn't high energy, but he was good. He did a fine job. He was a funny comic.
A lot of the times
he was a funny. I'm not even talking about this about people's comedy. The kid in Burlington had like fine enough jokes, but it's like, why would you get the energy of fucking corkboard to fucking host a show? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't want to say names, but I think we had the same host.
Tyler.
Well, I mean, I don't want to.
I don't remember his last name. It doesn't matter.
Can I just say this though? I think you're confusing lack of energy for handsome guy energy, because he's very handsome.
He's very, very handsome,
and he admits right up top, this isn't what he wants to do.
Nope.
He's just doing this for shits and giggles.
Pure hobby.
And I'll tell you this.
So why are we wasting time with him?
Don't fucking say that to a headliner.
Don't. He had no idea who I was at all. My intro the first night and didn't get better any other night was kind of like, he goes, this guy, just met him backstage for the first time, seems like a pretty cool guy. He's got a radio show.
I love that.
He's got a radio show, and he kept saying, and I never corrected him. He kept going, and he's got his very own podcast, which I'm like, it's not my I'm like, whatever, dude. Like,
but you know what's funny about that is that's being bad at your job.
Yeah, this is my point. He's very bad at hosting a show, and it seems like they keep asking him to do it.
But the one thing is, well, I'm sure their talent pool is limited. But second off, if you're gonna host, if you are working in comedy, don't tell the guy who wants to be at home and probably doesn't want to be on the road that you don't give a shit about this, because this is in most cases all we have. Yeah. And a lot of us are so broken, as we've just spent the last 2 fucking hours talking about it.
It's also what I'll sacrifice so much other things to do.
I've sacrificed weddings. I've sacrificed fucking birthdays, big fucking shit that's in my personal life, because I know I have to be on the road.
Some of my daughter's events growing up, several of her sporting events. I mean, like,
when you're a comic, you understand that this is part of the gig. You go on the road. I'm not looking for sympathy of like, we're such road warriors. But I'm saying if you're hosting,
people out there doing roofing all summer,
exactly,
I get it.
Fucking people welding steel and shit.
Yes.
If you are, I'm talking specifically for people who host at a club on the road. When your headliner's there, just fucking know that guy, sure, he wants to do the shows, but everything else sucks. So just fucking act like you want to be there too.
As a host, just like familiarize yourself with at least who the headliner is.
Watch a YouTube clip.
Watch one. Or just look him up and look at his website and see his credits. That's all.
When I used to host, when I worked,
he goes, "You want me?" The first words to me, he goes, "So I'm gonna bring you up." I have this. He goes, "So you want me to just say Comedy Central and Tonight Show?" I'm like, "I've never done the Tonight Show." He's like, "You never did the Tonight Show?" I'm like, sorry, fuckface, have you done the Tonight Show?
But listen,
I'm thinking about saving my cab driver story.
Yes, you are.
For when Mike Fenoy comes
we absolutely
in.
Will.
Because this guy was, me and Christine this morning on No Sleep were childlike giggling, but we got dropped off at the airport.
Well, because I got a great story about an Uber.
It's a story about retards judging other retards and then being a retard.
Okay, well, I got a great Uber story that matches yours from when I did shows in Miami. That was just a god.
Jacob, jot this down. Show prep. Get it back to corporate.
Kick it back upstairs.
Kick this back upstairs to the brass.
But it really is, you know, when you go on the road, I think you just want to work. That's why a lot of times we bring our own openers, because you know what you're going to get with your opener.
Yes.
Where you're like, I know this guy's going to be good. I'll even pay him out of my own pocket to come just because I need a good show. Because sometimes you go and listen, if you want to do comedy as a hobby, that's fantastic. But don't go around telling everyone that. If you're in a boxing gym and you talk to a guy who's fucking has a real fight and you're like, hey, you know what? I just do this because I like the exercise.
Trying to drop a couple pounds, couple
yeah.
lbs.
You're like, cool. I might have fucking CTE because of this shit.
Yeah. He's like, cool. This is my only way to get out of my shitty neighborhood. So
yeah.
can
And
you
this is
please,
my
like,
only way to
fuck
feed
out?
my family.
Yeah.
So fuck off. I understand that you want.
Just some people take some element of it seriously.
Yes.
And you're like, again, he did. He announced pretty quick. He's like, nah, I got, you know what it was? After the show, someone asked all of us to go, what do you like define as like success for yourself? Like, what do you want to be? They asked like Rob May, and Rob's like, oh, I'm just kind of gonna get where Jay's at, sort of. I was like, for me, I was like, I want like my radio shows and everything to do well, and I just want to, you know, get where I'm like performing for all fans.
Sell tickets, man. And
selling out comedy clubs. You know, as I'm not have like, you know, I'm not looking like to be the next fucking Seinfeld or anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And the other guy just goes, oh, I don't even do this much anymore. So he's gonna call me, and it's just like, what the? When he said that, I was gonna like, why is it my weekend he's on that?
Yeah, but that's just you deal with a bunch of shit on the road sometimes. And
but they always say, you gotta
if you're a young comic like Jake in Wisconsin and you're listening to this and you end up emceeing for a guy on the road, just fucking say you did this shit. Don't even bring that up. You don't
want to do it. You don't have to do that, but just like pump some energy. Make it.
How about?
By the way, treat a headliner good. I learned this from being. By the way, I was an opener and feature act and far longer than I've been a headliner.
Yeah, me too.
And I'll say that you if you're cool to your headliners, like they really kick back good stuff to you. Everything from advice, info, recommendations.
Some of my favorite moments were just fucking listening to them talk about the road.
The kid, Danny Callis.
Love Danny Callis.
You know, from Chicago.
He opens for me. He's featured for me multiple times.
That's right. He opened for me at Dr. Grin's.
Yeah, I love Danny
Fucking
Callis.
really funny, man.
Super funny. Great fucking joke writer. Got fucked over on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
He's super funny.
I like his edgy thing, and he's just like he's a mellow, cool. I liked it. And again, I don't know if he has great hosting energy, but he wasn't a host. He was a feature, and I thought he was great.
I'll tell you what.
Killed every show every
worked
weekend.
With him Worked with him in Cap City in Austin. Worked with him in Helium in Buffalo. Fucking hilarious. And and here's the thing about a guy like Danny Callis.
And if he came here, I'd bring him to places.
That's what I was just saying. When we were working together, he's like, man, I'm in Austin and I'm doing okay, but I got to decide if I want. I'm like, dude, if you come to New York, I will fucking walk you into the stand and introduce you to Patrick. Yeah. I will walk you into stand-up New York and introduce you to Candy. I will fucking just move to New York.
I said when I come to Chicago, like we'll hang out. Let's as I try to work. I'll let you know what I'm doing in Chicago if you want to work with me there.
Yeah,
and let's just we'll hang out that weekend and stuff. Like I think he was a good dude. Yeah, but
so that's all it is. And it's like Joe List said this to me right when I moved to New York, and I was still an open mic comic and not getting shit, but it made the most sense. And it's the one thing that someone said to me early in my career where I'm like, that is absolute truth. Where List and I were getting hammered, and he's like, no one gets you more work in comedy than other comedians. So just fucking be nice and act like you want to be there, even if it's a fucking part-time.
You got to be in the thing full 100%. You can't just show up like some motherfucking half-breed.
That's all I ever heard.
Big J is going to be in Seattle this Thursday through Saturday at Parlor Live. Go get tickets at bigjcomedy.com.
And Dan Soder is going to be at Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia on Thursday, December 29th through New Year's Eve, Saturday, December 31st. That's going to be crazy, crazy fun in Philly. Get your tickets at heliumcomedy.com.
And don't forget to follow us at the Bonfire SXM on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Also on Facebook. And I should be here on Monday. There is a small chance I won't be.
Until then, we'll be straight stunting.
Stunting on these motherfuckers.